Hello, everyone from Chelsea Fan TV. I hope you're doing very, very well. Big up to everyone. I hope you're enjoying Tuesday, your Tuesday evening. Big up to everyone. And listen, it's been a pretty busy day. I got a little bit more going on as well. From a Chelsea perspective, it has been it's been ticking along. That's the best way I can say. We do have a few updates, so don't be too disappointed. It's not like we don't have anything to talk about. There is still plenty going on, but it's one of those days where we're just sort of. It's a slow news day for some of the journalists. It's definitely a slow news day. It seems like that, but that's absolutely fine. There's still a lot to dive into. There's still a lot of conversation to be had and debate, and plenty that we can speak about together. So big up to all of you, whether you are watching on YouTube or X. Appreciate you tuning in. And if you haven't already, smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel. We've got just under 50 on X and just under 40 on YouTube. Ramp up those likes straight away, retweet, whatever it is. Let's get straight into it, shall we? Try and bring us some good news today. Hey, listen, man. Actually, I mean, to be fair, the way that sounds is like I've been bringing bad news every day. I feel like it's been positive for the most part. So, it's not that bad. Hello, good to see you, mate, from Myanmar as well. Okay, big up to you, my friend. Good to see Amir in the building. Big up to you. I am doing very well. And I'm feeling the heat. It's very hot in the UK at the moment. And I work outside. So we'll have to see what happens there. When will Garnacho and Xavi Simons arrive? Well, I mean, we don't know. I guess that's the whole point of the conversation, isn't it? To figure out if it's actually going to happen. Although I would still say that I believe both of those deals can happen, but there has to be a willingness from Chelsea and an enthusiasm from the sellers as well to agree something. These are not issues that we have with the players. These are issues that we have with the clubs, right? Because if the clubs don't find an agreement, these deals won't happen. And that is the situation that we're in at the moment. I do feel like both of these deals could very much go late on. Although, if you had to say which deal gives me more confidence that it could happen, I would say Garnacho. I would say that deal. Well, having said that as well, the Simons one is pretty similar, and the valuation isn't that far, right? Leipzig won about 60 million. I think Chelsea probably wants somewhere in the region of the 50s. So I don't think that that's a million miles away from happening if there's a little bit of flexibility on both sides. Then with Garnacho, I think that's where you see a massive valuation difference. I mean, Chelsea are looking at 30 and United are looking at 50. That's a gap that needs to close. And you consider how hard we fought to bring down the price of Mike Maignan. We weren't even willing, to spend an extra 4 or 5 million. So are we going to be willing to spend an extra 20 million? And the answer to that is no, if we have any sense. And I'd like to think that we do. I think that a lot of the business we've done has been genuinely impressive. Didn't look like it at one point, but now that it's all coming together, it's starting to look a lot better. Helps when the team's playing well and when players are performing and you're getting results, no doubt about it. But yeah, it's an interesting time for the club, guys. It's a very interesting time for the club. Alex, we need your apology video on Maresca to be more sincere, bro. You've wrote this club off a lot in the last 3 years, and it's time to stop the agenda, bro. Well, I didn't write it off under Potter. I didn't write it off under Pochettino. So there's 2 years cut off of your argument. And I didn't actually complain about Maresca until December. No, was it December? February. February was when I started complaining. February or March. So, I mean, realistically, your argument doesn't hold whatsoever. I mean, it's just not true. And I'm actually one of the few people who's sincere enough to apologize. So again, you know, can't get down on my knees. It's what it is, isn't it? So I didn't really write the club off. I mean, it's just total bullshit. Absolute bullshit. Title challenger, which team could it be? What I can say is that there's going to be a debate about 4 clubs: Chelsea, Arsenal, Man City, and Liverpool. That's the debate, isn't it? I mean, I was asked the other day who I would pick. I mean, if you would have asked me, and this was like a week ago, so at that time I said Liverpool, but you know, ultimately I want to wait and see what happens when the window finishes and just how teams look at the beginning of the season. That's what I want to see, and then we can really have more an opinion. Because mark my word, you'll be the first one piping up and carrying on the agenda if things start to go south. Again, Edwin, you don't have a clue, mate. You don't have a clue. And that's fine. I don't expect you to have watched everything that I've done. That's absolutely fine. But, you know, I'm actually known for being one of the more positive fans. I've never, ever been out for a manager. Never. Until Maresca came in. So, you know, there you go. So it's just totally, again, it's bullshit. It's not true. But you wrote off Maresca. But you wrote it off under Maresca, but put the other 2 clowns. What does that tell you about your football IQ? So Poch and Potter are all good and Maresca wasn't. Again, you're an idiot, mate. We'd finished 12th. We'd ripped away our squad. It was always going to be difficult. Always. And then we improved and we improved again, which is why I took back everything I said. So I think you're a clown, mate. You don't know what you're on about. You're talking about football IQ here. I had the ability to go back and say, you know what, fair enough. But I don't say that what I was seeing during the season was acceptable, because it wasn't. But we come out in the end and we did very well by winning trophies. All right. If we hadn't have won the trophies, we would be having a different conversation. But we did. I do find it crazy how some people look at this. You know, I don't get stick from many people in the Chelsea community because I did own up to what I was saying. But it doesn't mean I was entirely wrong, because what we saw was shit. And it improved in order to win those trophies. It did improve. And we've seen we've done some good business as well, guys. I mean, listen, it's not about negative or positive. It's opinions, isn't it, guys? It's a game of opinions. And ultimately, some people are right and some people are wrong. And I'm happy to say when I'm wrong. I'm also happy to say if I think that people, you know, are wrong themselves. That's the reality. You can't compare Potter, Poch, and Maresca. Totally fucking different. Totally different. I mean, it's ridiculous. The fact that you would argue, let's just imagine that Maresca was in Potter's shoes. Do you think that he would do what he did this season? Do you think he would have been better? Maybe. All right, maybe we would have finished 10th. Who knows? Same with the season under Poch. Like, I really don't know. I don't know. But what I can tell you, and I do know because we've seen it, is that we've improved. And one of the arguments that I had last season was about Maresca's CV. What the fuck's going on with this guy's CV? Where is his CV in terms of his experience as a manager? Very limited. And now we can look at him. We can go, oh, fair enough. Actually, you've got something there that we can look at, and you know we can appreciate. What was I supposed to appreciate before? The championship? We will not compete if we don't replace Colwell again. It depends if Fofana's fit, mate. Like, I think if Fofana's fit, then you're okay. But, I mean, he won't stay fit. So there's an argument to be made there. I mean, I'm open to the conversation. I can't believe I'm going to say this, but at the moment, it looks like Manchester United has more of a chance of signing him than we do, sadly. I guess we're talking about... who are we talking about here? Are we talking about? Yeah, who the hell are we talking about? Sorry, Amir, you've lost me there. Hello, mate. Did you ever see Chelsea getting Huijsen, even if you paid the price? I'll be honest with you, mate. I was always an advocate for that signing. I was a big fan. Two of the centre backs that I was looking at were Dean Huijsen and Jonathan Tah. I was also interested in Mark Gurhey. Obviously, Tah went to Bayern Munich on a free. I thought that Chelsea would be well up for that because, again, it's a free. But that didn't happen. No problem. Dean Huijsen got poached from Madrid. Not much you can do there. So then you're left with Mark Gurhey. I mean, that was my three. And I'm still interested in Mark Gurhey. I think Mark Gurhey comes in. You've got a direct replacement for any of the centre backs, really. In Badiashile, Fofana, you know, he could replace any of those players. Isak to Liverpool, Jackson to Newcastle, so he can prove himself to be a £120 million striker. Who knows? Your practical positivity is why we tune in from Kentucky daily. Thank you very much, Hillary. Appreciate it. So excited for Esteval this season. He's going to cook in this team. Let's hope. I guess it depends how much he's going to play. But judging from what we've seen over the past couple of preseason games, he'll be playing a fair amount. He's clearly got the ability. It's more the physicality that I'm intrigued to see how he gets on against bigger, faster, and better organized opponents in a league where a lot of players just seem to struggle when they come from abroad. But Brazil, listen, we did see a lot of very tough Brazilian teams. So, I mean, he's certainly got experience playing against some decent sides. I feel bad for Nicholas Jackson. Well, listen, I'm not hating on the guy. I'm happy to keep him. I haven't got an issue with Jackson. I haven't got an issue with Jackson, to be honest with you, whatsoever. But if we sell him for more than we sold Madueke for, that's always been my argument. The football under Maresca was boring, but at least under Poch it was fun to watch. I mean, if we're talking about the season we just had, yeah, you're right. But we did win trophies, and you can always justify anything to do with the playing style with trophies. And I've always said this: if you are winning trophies, you can get away with playing a certain way. If you're not winning trophies, I really don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. If you're not winning trophies and you're playing boring football, it's not good enough for me. It's not. Why was Mourinho popular? Because he won. Why is Conte popular? Because they won. Was it the most entertaining football at times? No. Why was Sarri appreciated in the end? At least I stuck by Sarri, but a lot of people appreciated him because he won at the end and he got us to Carabao Cup final. So ultimately, if you're getting results, if you're showing signs of progression with trophies, nobody can complain there. Yeah, revisionism is always a sign of low football IQ and stinking agendas. You're entirely wrong. We was unreal until the end of December. Had a bad patch for 2 months. Bad patch for 2 months from January to March. I think it was longer than that, mate. I mean, March was actually when I first said Maresca out. So, yeah, again, not true. All good, mate. All good. Good to be on the stream. We got just under 300 of you on all platforms. Smash that like button if you haven't already. And if you're watching on X, you can retweet, you can like as well. It all helps on YouTube. What are we rocking at the moment? We have got just under 30 likes. We've got just under 100 of you. Let's get up to 50 and then we can get started. Okay. And Nkunku should go to Eintracht Frankfurt or AS Monaco. Again, you've got teams that need to spend the money. I'm not sure I've heard about those links, to be honest with you. It seems like Leipzig makes sense, but that's going to be on a loan, not a permanent. I think we're undoing a lot of good by pursuing unwanted targets like Garnacho and Simmons, whereas we should have been fighting for Donnarumma and Gurhey. Pretty sure this will come to bite us in the arse. Big up to Harry. Hope you're doing well. No need to keep digging up old opinions just to score points. It's proper weird behavior. Again, doesn't bother me. Doesn't bother me because I can justify everything that I was thinking at the time. I can justify it. You know, I bumped into Con and Pies the other day in the pub before the game. And, they were talking to me about Poch. And I stand by a lot of the things I say. It doesn't mean that I can't appreciate Maresca, because I can, and I am. And I respect what he's done now that we're at this current point in time. And now if we are in a more difficult period, you can lean on what we've seen. I mean, you can lean on that. As with any top manager, you have to say, fucking hell, well, the guy's he's achieved this. He obviously knows something. And if you don't have a manager that hasn't got that experience, it's difficult, isn't it? But hey, everyone's got an opinion. That's how it is. Donnarumma. Okay, yes. I do think Man United will get Donnarumma. I think that would make sense for them. It is quite quiet, but listen, there's still a few things we can speak about. On holiday to Orlando, Florida. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. Again, Penders could be an option. I think that really what we're looking to do, though, is go for Manyan on a free. I think that will be the strategy. But I'm not going to say no to Penders if that's the way to do it. I'm not going to say no. Yeah, I don't want Jackson on the wing. I'll be honest, not for me. Not for me. I'm a Bournemouth fan, but I like the channel because you speak the truth. Maybe Maresca might change, but I think he is stubborn and has one plan, in my opinion. What are your thoughts, mate? I don't think he's a one-trick pony. I think that Maresca's shown actually he can adapt. He just chooses not to, right? But he has adapted. He has. He's. I mean, I've just seen in the past couple of games, he's allowed fullbacks to overlap on the right-hand side, which we very rarely see. We saw it in the Club World Cup, bringing Nkunku more centrally. We saw it with Enzo Fernandez throughout the season, playing more advanced roles. And yeah, I would say that Maresca is willing to adapt. I would say that. I wouldn't say he's not as stubborn as Sarri. He's definitely not as stubborn as Sarri. Will we get Xavi Simons? He's a baller. Who knows, mate? Who knows? Fingers crossed. I am going to go for it shortly. Who the hell said that? If we're getting Dean Huijsen, Mark Gurley, or Jonathan Tyrant, it would be a different story. I've got that gut feeling for Fana. He's not going to be fully fit with Champions League and Prem. That's fair. Don't know what that means. There's defense by the name of Silva. I think we should sign for Chelsea to replace Colwell. I'm guessing you're talking about the Silva from Benfica. Is that the one? I think that's the one you're thinking of. No striker for 2 months. Alex, we was in the top 4 90% of the season. What did you expect in the league? Crazy. Hey, listen, man. I said that how I saw it. Yeah, that does sound very Spursy, mate. It's like saying we were 1-0 up for 89 minutes and then we conceded. But in fairness, we did get top 4. So that's, again, like, all I can do is reiterate my point. We achieved what we needed to achieve in the end, and credit to the guy. Well done. Like, I was standing outside Nottingham Forest. I was very happy. What did you expect? Free-flowing football in his first year of Premier League with the youngest squad in Premier League history with different systems and formations. Well, I wouldn't have said it was as free-flowing as it was, at times under Poch. So, well, maybe that's the wrong word. It was definitely not as free. I mean, it was restrictive. It was restrictive. And that was the frustrating thing. It was restrictive to Gusto. It was restrictive to Reece James, although I think it benefited his health. I think footballing-wise, you would get more out of James overlapping. You would, when he is fit. My biggest concern was the goalkeeper. We now know and understand everything there. Very pissed off about Palmer when he played in the 10. I was very annoyed about that. So, like, there's a lot of factors, isn't there? There's a lot of things that come into it. But it seems like whatever I say, Edwin, you know, you talk about me having an agenda. It sounds like you've got one. That's the God honest truth. Because I'm happy to admit when I was wrong. Any updates on Chilwell, Sterling, and other in limbo transfers? Well, all we know about Sterling is he wants to stay in London, which doesn't give us a lot of options. But I mean, if we are looking at Premier League football, there are a few options out there. There's Fulham, there's Crystal Palace. Arsenal's already been taken. Tottenham won't want him. Fair play. I can understand that. So we're not looking at an awful lot of options for a player like Sterling at the moment. And that's obviously not going to be on a permanent deal. Is it? I don't know. Maybe it could be on a permanent deal. But he'd have to take a pay cut. So Sterling needs to ask himself the question, do I care more about playing consistent football in the latter stages of my career in the Premier League, or do I want to make 325k? Am I going to take a massive pay cut? Because anyone who takes him won't want to pay more than, I can't imagine more than 150 max. I don't think they'll even pay that, to be honest. Yeah, we did adapt a lot in that sense. Hope, fingers crossed, no other clubs hijack the Xavi Simons deal like Man City news yesterday. I'll pull my hair and get frustrated. Yeah, I don't think that will get. I think Man City will end up getting what's his name from Real Madrid, Rodrigo. I believe that deal can happen. I think they've got the money. They'll spend the money. They got rid of Grealish, Savinho. I think that deal, if that deal happens, they'll probably end up getting this one. Arsenal might arguably have the better transfers this offseason. Had they just agreed a fee with Eze? We'll see. We will see. Like, ultimately, we can only talk about what we know on paper, but we'll see if they gel together, and we'll see if we gel. And we look pretty good as it stands. Again, I literally echoed your point. I said I understand it was because of his injuries, but his football was not better because of the fact that he played in the midfield. That's the reality. It's a fact. He plays better when he overlaps. So I understand what you're saying, but what I'm saying is also right. Donnarumma, apparently, the club says that he wants to leave PSG, which I personally am fine with. But what I don't get is why he doesn't want to leave straight after. Is why does he want to leave straight after we beat them? He wants us. Again, I don't know, mate. I don't know. Hello, Donna. Wagwan, just like a hooker would return to her first love. Oh, God. I'll return to your channel like a loyal member should. Well, I appreciate that, Donna. Nice positive vibes there. Back to Edwin. Here we go. By the way, Alex, I don't not like you as a person, but I know for a fact Johnny Minerals is going to be at Palace and wants word with you. Well, good for Johnny. I look forward to speaking with him. That'll be fun. How many beers am I having Sunday? How many are you buying me, Todd? That's what I want to know. How many are you buying me? Donnarumma is not going to happen with the ridiculous wages. I agree. I don't think it's going to happen. That's the reality. So maybe give him a message because from what I heard on Tobe's Hollywood streams, he's vexed with you big time. The guy doesn't speak to me like fuck knows. I don't need to cater to Johnny. I really don't. You know, I don't. What the fuck is he angry about now? We just won the Club World Cup. Literally just won the Club World Cup. For fuck's sake. Why is he angry? God. I don't understand how no team wants Chilwell. He's literally in his prime age, and he's a very underrated player. Again, he's not in his. He might be in his prime age, but he's not in his prime. That's the reality. Right. How many are we on as it stands? Let's get cracking, because we do want to go through the news as well. I will try and answer as many questions as I can. Come on, people. We need at least 11 more on YouTube, 11 more likes. Smash the like button, and big up to everyone on X as well. We've got just under 400 on all platforms. Appreciate everyone's time. Okay. Where do we start? Where do we start? Let's start on a positive note. Something that just makes you smile when you look at it. Something very nice. Look at this beautiful picture. Cole Palmer and Thiago Silva. Thiago Silva's son. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that great? Nice to see that Thiago Silva's family settling in well in London. And obviously, Thiago Silva wants to come back to Chelsea and continue his coaching career there. That's what we've heard, at least. So I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think that, I think it's absolutely brilliant. And to be quite frank, I mean, we could certainly use Thiago Silva at the moment with Colwell being injured, but yeah, we had to let him go, didn't we? We had to. Got to respect the decision from the big man. Again, we saw this from Fabrizio Romano. This was last night. Chelsea step-up talks for Garnacho as club-to-club discussions with Man United are now well underway. The player only wants Chelsea. Personal terms were agreed upon, and fee negotiations are ongoing. He is expected to become a Chelsea player. I mean, my reaction to that is, let's see what happens, because I'm expected to do a lot of things. It doesn't mean I'm going to do it. I expect myself to wake up and go to the gym. But I'll be honest with you, that hasn't happened in a while. So we're going to need to have something a little bit more concrete than that. But this is a real conversation, especially we're going to touch on Veiga as well. When we look at Ansel Mina, The Athletic recently posted an article basically talking about whether he could, it was all about, a number of things to do with the transfers basically that are going on. And they've said that he could be kept around, Ansel Mina, if Maresca deems him ready. He could be kept around. Now, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all. But, again, this is under the assumption that he's going to get minutes, he's going to get playing time. He's not going to waste a year of his career because he already came back early in January to settle into the environment at Chelsea and get used to English culture. That's great. You don't need another year of that. Okay, you don't need it. Not without game time. If you're getting game time, you can justify. If you don't have game time, it's very difficult to justify that. So with Ansel Mina, I'd probably still be leaning for him to leave, in all honesty. Because I don't even see him starting over Badiashile. And that's not me talking about ability. I haven't seen enough of Ansel Mina to really comment on that. But that's me speaking more from the stance of, how would I describe it? Well, Badiashile's just a more experienced player in this squad, right? And you'll see it a lot of the times that younger players with an enthusiasm, with a lot of quality, even though they do look better than other players at times, they don't necessarily get that opportunity. I spoke about this before with Loftus-Cheek and Hudson-Odoi when they were breaking through into Chelsea's team. I mean, they earned the right to start a lot earlier than they did, and then they became key parts of the squad before they got injured. And I do feel like if that's going to be the case for anyone, that would be the case for Anselmino. He'd have to force his way in, but how do you force your way in as a centre-back? I mean, that's difficult. It's not like you can score goals as a midfielder or a striker. That's something that Tyreek George could do if he was to stay. He could force his way in, right? Which I've got nothing against. Although I personally think that based on what we've seen and the history of the two players, you'd have to say that Garnacho is a definite upgrade on Tyreek George. So I know some of you aren't particularly happy with the idea of bringing in Garnacho, but you can't argue with the fact that he's a better player than Tyreek George. He just is. I mean, it's a fact. He's got more Premier League experience. He's got European experience. In fairness, Tyreek George has European experience, but Europa League and Champions League is probably more valuable than Conference League. So, hey, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Would like to know your opinion on the current legal issues with Crystal Palace. Do you think they should have been allowed to play Europa? Yes, I do, because to be honest, when you understand the details of it, I mean, there was just a massive mistake from Palace, a massive mistake. But I do think UEFA should have just given them the benefit of the doubt. Nobody would have complained if that had ever happened. There's bad mistakes and there's genuine mistakes, right? That was a genuine mistake. So you've got to feel for them. But I also, at the same time, if I was a Palace fan, I'd be just as excited to play Conference League because they actually could go out and win it. I mean, I can't think off the top of my head which other top teams are in that competition, but considering Palace just won the FA Cup by beating Man City and then they beat Liverpool in the Community Shield, it makes me feel like they have enough quality to perform in the Conference League. But then you're coming down to a totally different conversation about fitness, player availability, who stays, who goes, squad depth, all the rest of it. Mr. Johnny is always angry. He looks handsome when he's angry. Hey, Donna, whatever rocks your boat. What's your view on buying a new centre-back? Not a priority if we're not going to get a goalkeeper. That is my stance. I would prefer to get a goalkeeper. If we're not getting a goalkeeper, then we're not getting a centre-back. And I believe that is probably the same with the club as well. So that's my opinion. How good is Santos and Gittins? They look very promising. Santos looks more like a developed player. I'd say Gittins still looks a bit raw. Having said that, Gittins played really well. Burnley? I haven't heard that one. Where's that? Again, got to disagree with Garnacho. Hey, or criticism. Yeah, I really don't see how he messes up the whole environment. I don't see it. I think it's a better environment. I think it will lift him as a player. Original Jamaican in the building. Big up to you, my friend. And shout out to Original No Fake Thin for gifting a membership as well. Right, let's move on from Anselmino. Let's move on from that particular deal. Again, so this kind of reiterates what I was just saying. No sense of panic at Stamford Bridge, and Chelsea feel no urgent need to delve into the summer transfer market to replace Levi Colwell, which kind of goes into what we just said about Anselmino. That might be one of the reasons that there's this conversation about him potentially staying at Chelsea. Maresca as well. This is on a centre-back. He trusts Chalobah and Tosin, and Fofana is nearing a return. Hato is equally capable of playing at centre-back or left-back. When purchased, Badiashile was regarded as a close equivalent talent to Colwell with a very similar profile. So, sorry, I thought we were going to get a quote from Maresca, but that's just what the Athletic is saying. He thinks or is saying. I'm not panicking. I'll be honest. I'm not panicking. I don't think there's any need to panic. The thing is, you have to look at it from this perspective, which is what I do. And this is why I haven't gone on about the goalkeeper as much. I've spoken about the goalkeeper, but I haven't ranted. I mean, I had a really big rant with Lewis when I was on holiday in Greece, especially when I heard about what was going on with Manyan and Petrovic. I thought that was a disgrace. But it's like anything. Let's just say, right, you're living with your missus, and she says, right, I'm going away to see my family. You've got the house to yourself. By the time I come back, I want you to take the bins out. I want you to hoover. I want you to do the dishes. I want you to make the bed. What else? I want you to do the laundry. And she comes back and she goes in the kitchen and there's fucking dirty dishes everywhere. She starts screaming. She's angry. She's fuming. Absolutely fuming. But then I say, hang on, hold on a second. Hold on a second. You saw that pile of dishes, but you didn't see the pile of clean laundry that I have. Can you not see the floor that's been hoovered? There's no crumbs. Look at the bed. I've just made it. And there was something else I mentioned that I've forgotten. But the point is, we can choose to focus on one negative. But if we can't look at all of the good things that are surrounding this club at the moment, then I do believe that you do have an agenda. Yeah, I believe you've got an agenda. And I've had this term thrown at me, which is flip-flop, because I'm willing to change my opinion. And guess why it's called an opinion? The reason it's called an opinion is because opinions can change. A man is absolutely fuming. He's absolutely fuming. But listen, a man, that's the reality. That's the reality of the situation. You might not like it because you're single and you don't have a missus. Maybe that's the reason. I don't know if you can relate to it. It could be about anything. But that's the reality of the situation. You can't just look at the negatives. You've got to try and hone in on more positives for me. And when I look at this window in particular, I don't see negatives overriding the positives. The positives are at the forefront of what we're doing. And that's why we look like we're playing better football. That's why we look like we have a better starting 11. We've sold well. We've bought well. We've made profit. We've won 2 trophies. Actually, we won the Malta trophy, Visit Malta trophy. I don't know if that carries any weight. I saw Saeed celebrating the what the hell was it? The Snapdragon trophy that Man United won. Oh, that was funny. So, yeah, how can you sit here and be grumpy about our football club when, all in all, things are better than worse? That's the reality. I don't feel the uncertainty now that I felt 6 months ago, whatever it was, right? I don't feel that same uncertainty. I don't feel it. I feel a sense of pride. I mean, there's not really another word for it. I feel relatively proud that we're in a position where we're even having a conversation about being able to compete. You know, I was standing outside Bournemouth with Lewis. I remember it. I remember it so well. I was at Bournemouth with Lewis. We got 40 points. I mean, it was incredible. I've got to find, haven't I? Look at this. This is where I was. Look at this 2 years ago. This is where we were, and people want to complain. Hello, everyone from Chelsea Fan TV. My name is Alex. I'm here with Lewis. You're a happy man, Lewis. I remember before the game, you complaining, You said we're going to lose. You complain about the lineup, the formation. But it must feel good to be proved wrong. We've just beat Bournemouth 3-1. When was the last time we won a game?
Fuck that, come here, man. we have waited like how fucking long for this moment, bruv. The road to 40 is done.
That's where we were. And now look. Can you not? We've gone forward. We've gone forward. We took a lot of steps backwards to get back into this position, but we have a genuine squad that we can look at, and yeah, very, very happy with what I'm seeing. Very happy. Okay. I would take Mark Gurhey. I would take him. He's always been one of my options. So I'd take him. 40 million is what we've heard. 100%. No doubt in my mind. So if that's the option, definitely. I think panic is the wrong word. I mean, I've been advocating for us to basically sell Fofana. I'm not a fan of Fofana. I'd sell him because he's never fit. What's the point of having a player who's never fit? Baddies Shill, rotation option. He's a rotation option. That's the truth. He said he's going to try and bring down the channel. It's a charity boxing match with either you or Carefree Lewis. Well, that'd be fun. That would be fun. Not that I've ever done a boxing match, but hey, there you go. The other day after the 2-0 win, you interviewed me and my African friends. I remember you. Mate. I remember. I didn't know that was you, but now I do. Three years to reach a baseline of Champions League, and you want us to see the positives. Right. Let's just again. Let's talk slowly. We finished 12th. We finished 6th. We lost a Carabao Cup final. We got to an FA Cup semi-final. We then finished 4th. And we won a Conference League and a Club World Cup. What the fuck are we talking about? My positive is a Prem title. I am not a spicy Brighton fan. Well, I look forward to seeing you smile at some point, mate. Fucking hell. I'm not sure. I don't know if I mentioned better revenue. And again, but you didn't mention the other stuff, did you? You didn't mention the other things. What about the trophies? What about the success? What about the progression? 45 million for Garnacho. He's not a total bum. Hey, you will feel it in December. Fuck it. Who knows? Yes. Sold. We'll make money now. We need to back the Premier League title at the bridge. Hey, that would be good, man. Right, let me go through some of this stuff. What have we achieved? Right, okay. We just won the Club World Cup, mate, and a European trophy, and we finished in Champions League for the first time in years. 3 achievements right there. 3. There's no point. Hello, DJ Sav. Good to see you in the building, mate. It looks like we could potentially get something done, but probably not before the first game of the season. That's my honest opinion. But I do think we'll get a nice deal, probably a 60 million deal or something like that. Look, we're able to command it now that we've won the Club World Cup. So when we talk about revenues or sales, or this stuff helps us buy players. This stuff helps us operate in a more comfortable and sustainable way. It affects what we're doing on the footballing side. Any players leaving Chelsea at the moment is a discount. Any player leaving after the window close, price will be going up. Again, it wasn't Potter, mate. Looking back at it, it wasn't Potter. It was the situation he was in. The best thing to do would have been to have kept Tuchel and just try and get the most out of that group, which would have still struggled tremendously. But it was a very difficult situation for Potter, no doubt. But he was not the main problem. The problem was that we changed too much too quickly, and that's why we finished 12th. Big up to Will as well. Hope you're doing well. Big up to Chelsea King. Agron, would I take Veiga back? No, I would not. Senior sources at Chelsea say that Nicholas Jackson will be reintegrated into Enzo Maresca's squad after the deadline if no transfer materializes. They are not desperate to sell him. Yeah, fair. Hey, I'm with you on that. And we're not desperate. So when people say, why do you talk about the finances? It affects the football side. If we were in a position where we had to sell, we could be with only 2 strikers going into a season. Now, because we're comfy, we'll either make a fat profit, basically taking the piss out of Newcastle, because let's be honest, Jackson isn't, in my opinion, worth 70 million, whatever the number that's been quoted. Although there's room to negotiate around 60. He is a great third option. We will not find a better third choice option than Nicholas Jackson. Am I saying that we have the best pick of strikers that's out there? Again, I'd have to think about it, and we need to see what João Pedro and Delap can do. No real proof of that. But if we're saying that Jackson is not as good as Delap and Delap is not as good as João Pedro, Jackson scored 15 goals in his first season and then 10. No pens either. I think they were all from open play. Delap scored 10 or 11 for Ipswich, a relegation side. And then João Pedro seems to have just turned into a whole new player since he's come into this squad. I don't think anyone would have ever predicted him to make such a great impact. So we're in a position where if someone gets injured, you would like to think that there's going to be an array of options and that we will be in a position where we can rotate and we won't have to worry about injuries. And God forbid anyone does get injured, then yeah, we'll have that cover. Smash that like button, people. Big up to you, Will. Listen, people, we've got over 100 of you on YouTube. On X, we have almost 500 on X. So on YouTube, let's get up to at least, let's try and get up to 100 likes. Come on, people. It takes a minute. It's there forever. It helps. It always does. And I appreciate it. I appreciate you watching regardless. And on X, come on, let's get up to 300. Let's get up to 300 likes on X. Get a few retweets in there as well. I'm not sure if Garnacho replaces Gittins. He looks good. I don't think it's about replacing Gittins. I think it's about another option. Yeah, Gittins can't play every week. You've got to rotate. And I don't think Tyreek George is the player to do that, to be honest with you. To push Gittins to be his best. I'm not saying Garnacho would do that, but I am saying that I think Garnacho is better than Tyreek George. OTS, don't know what that means. Alex, even though we disagree, but love your honesty and content. Thank you very much, Aman. Appreciate the kind message. Nothing wrong with a disagree. Hey, you always find I'm happy to debate. I've got no issue debating with the comments. I've got no issue debating with a man or there was another guy. Edwin. I don't have a problem with it. I don't take it personally. But, you know, everyone's got their opinions. Some people are right. Some people are wrong. And we'll find out. Time will always tell. Absolutely. It's a great option to have. What have you made of Esteval so far? I think he's looked class. Watched him at the bridge on Sunday, coming off the bench, made things happen straight away. I think that he was absolutely sensational. The main thing, DJ, is that it's the physical side and the mental side. If we're going to be a little bit more humane, the guy's a kid, and you know, week in, week out, playing in the Premier League, it will take its toll. It's not sunny Brazil, where you can go on. I mean, you can go to the beach in England, but it's just a bit shit if you're going to compare it to Brazil. There's just a lot that's different, right? I've never been to Brazil, but I can imagine that there's a lot of things that he is used to having out there that he just won't have in England. I presume his family's moved over with him. He'll have some support. He's obviously making some good money at Chelsea. He's not going to struggle to pay his rent, but it can be very lonely going to a new country. And I just hope that the team helps him integrate on more of a human level. So when we talk about how good Esteval is, I don't think we can doubt his ability. It's the physical side and it's the mental side that I'm not concerned about, but I just want us to be careful. And I think that out of all the managers that there are, Maresca's pretty careful with that stuff. So I think that it should be absolutely fine. My first time on your program or channel, I was the one that suggested Silva from Benfica to Chelsea to replace Colwell. I'm with you. Well, good to see you for the first time, Devon. Big up to you, my friend. And I hope you are having a very good Tuesday evening. João Pedro's on beast mode. He is, mate. He is. Pedro starting his Chelsea career like the way Palmer did, non-stop scoring. I'm with you there. Absolutely. When do I see him playing? I see him as third or fourth choice left winger, as Neto would probably play on that side in front of him. I see him as second choice left winger, and I see Neto as first choice left winger with Esteval sort of competing with him. But right now, I wouldn't start Esteval against Palace. I wouldn't. I'd start Neto because I think Neto deserves to start. He does. He's continued his vein of form. He hasn't let us down. So I think it'd be very harsh to drop him against Palace. Josh Achimpong won the love of Enzo Maresca in last season's Conference League campaign and looks ready to shoulder greater responsibility again. This is according to Athletic. I'm a big fan of Achimpong, but, you know, again, how much football is he going to play? And if we make the argument, is he going to play more football than last season? I think the answer is probably yes. But is that enough to satisfy what he wants? That remains to be seen. There is more confidence that Nkunku will depart. He is open to a return to Leipzig, but is commanding interest from other Bundesliga clubs, as well as sides in Italy and in the Premier League as well. And there's no surprise about that. Nkunku's a great player, and he is respected, and he will get his move. I think the question is just about money. How much are we going to get for the transfer fee? And then obviously personal terms as well. But I think that Chelsea's going to be the hardest obstacle out of all these ones. But we've set our price at about 43 million, around that mark. So I can expect it will be around that that we'd accept. Veiga will not return to Chelsea's first team squad and is expected to be sold for a substantial profit this summer. No surprises there, no disagreements there. Yeah, Veiga is, yeah, it wasn't loyal to us. Didn't want to be a part of our project. Off you go, mate. And he's probably butthurt that he couldn't be a part of the Club World Cup. But that's what you get. We don't want players who don't want to be a part of this project. Little transfer update with regards to Strasbourg. This is sort of a Blueco update. Ismail Decore has been removed from the Strasbourg first team squad after refusing to extend his contract. He will train with the reserves. Negotiations with Chelsea have also been unsuccessful. So, like, I'll be honest with you guys, I haven't really kept tabs on this one or heard much about what's been going on at Strasbourg with this particular player, Decore. But our policy hasn't changed. It hasn't changed anywhere in terms of the fact that if a player's not willing to sign, Topoli said this himself, then what will happen is very, very simple. If a player's not willing to sign, then they will be sold. He's 22 years old, and his contract expires in the summer next season. So absolutely, Chelsea will be looking to try and sell him. And if you look at what Strasbourg actually paid for him when he went there, it was a very, very cheap deal. It was just under 2 million euros, and now if you look at his value, it's around 18 million euros on transfer market. If you want to check that out, you can. So yeah, it will be a decent amount lost, but at least it's Strasbourg, not Chelsea. So hey. Right, let's have a look. Will we finish in the Champions League? I mean, that's difficult, man. You got to ask me these questions when we've made all of our signings. I think that's it. But if I've had a few games to see the squad playing and I've seen the signings, then it's easier, because it's not just Chelsea. You got to look at other teams and go, can we beat them? If we play PSG, I'm sure we'll be fine. But we might struggle against other teams. That was a joke, by the way. Who knows what happens next time we play PSG. Big up, Alex. What's going on with Xavi Simons? It's gone very quiet. We seem to be pushing for Garnacho more. Do you know what, mate? I just think that these transfers take time. And I think that both of these deals, especially Garnacho, I see Garnacho going down to deadline day. I see that happening, or very late in the window. Back the club, back the squad, stop the moaning. I stopped going around Feb last year because of all the old clowns that keep season tickets and just sit there moaning. Worst fan base in the Prem. I'm not sure about that one, Edwin. I think there's worse fan bases. I'd say Arsenal are probably the worst. Yeah, Arsenal for me, they've got to take number one spot. Jackson and Palmer had a good relationship, had a good partnership, better than Delap will ever have. We'll find out. Spoil old babies at the bridge these days. Go home, look after your grandkids, and let the new generation have the season tickets. Yes, if Eze starts against us with Palace, that'd be annoying. But I think he would start even with any speculation, to be honest. Oh, he wasn't very good in pre-season. Fair enough. So they've already got a replacement. You know more than I do, my friend. I will be doing an FPL video. I'm going to start. Yeah, I might do it. I'm trying to think. Maybe I'll do it. Tomorrow's Wednesday. You know, if I can be bothered, I might do a stream either tonight or another one tomorrow, and I'll do my FPL. That would be fun, because I haven't done it. Listen, smash that like button. We've got over 120 of you on YouTube, over 500 on X, about 650 in total on all platforms. Appreciate everyone tuning in. It does make a difference. It does help. Road to 100 likes on YouTube. Road to God knows how many likes on X. We'll see. Listen, I'm going to wrap it up there now, guys. Believe it or not, my working day is not finished. For those of you who don't know, I'm a tennis coach. That's why I'm a bit sweaty, because I work outside. I have another session to get to, so I will love you and leave you. I will be back tomorrow with another stream, maybe another one tonight if I'm feeling up for it. We'll see. We'll see. But yes, I will be doing some FPL. That will be fun. Catch up very soon, guys. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and we will